area. 9, 29, 18, and 7 are blue dots surrounded by red. So once you start messing with these districts and start putting some of the red in, that is why they believe they could change the District 9 seat and turn that seat red, and that would be the 5 seat. So obviously this proposed map getting a lot of feedback, a lot of Democrats unhappy about it. And joining us now to talk more about this is Congressman Greg Casar from Austin. As you heard us mention, Congressman Casar, your district is essentially wiped out. You would be drawn out of this map for the current district that you have right now. Talk to us about your reaction to this.
Well, what this map would do is essentially merge my district with Congressman Lloyd Doggett's district, and that is deeply illegal. I represent East Austin and Eastern Travis County, and they merged that in with Congressman Doggett's West Austin and Western Travis County district. That is all an attempt to have Donald Trump select members of Congress all across Texas instead of the voters getting to select members of Congress. And look, Ashley, you just showed these maps. They're already so gerrymandered. It's already ridiculous how gerrymandered these maps are. And now Donald Trump is ordering for that gerrymandering to be put on steroids because he wants to cover up for his corruption and crimes. He knows he can't do that by winning an election, so he's trying to rig an already extremely gerrymandered map.
You know, have you had a chance to talk with Congressman Doggett about this proposal and about, you know, what you guys are thinking, what you're seeing with this map?
Congressman Doggett and I are united in fighting back against this illegal and radically racially gerrymandered map. Look, this map clearly violates the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement marched to get LBJ to sign the Voting Rights Act, and he handed the pen. LBJ handed that pen to MLK. Donald Trump is trying to shred the Voting Rights Act, and as you showed in Houston, they are trying to get rid of the few districts where African American and Latino Texans have a majority of the vote. Similarly, here in Central Texas and in the Austin area, Donald Trump is ordering that they get rid of some of these districts where there's significant Latino and Black voting power, and he's trying to merge us into just one district in the heart of Austin. And so we're going to fight it with everything we've got.
Yeah, you know, I want you to talk about that fight for a little bit. We know that Democrats here in the State House have said nothing is off the table. You know, they're talking about the ability to break quorum, when they could do that, how that could happen. You know, in the Senate, we've heard about filibustering. But let's just think about timing. I mean, time is not necessarily on the Democrats' side on this. Even if they break quorum and last throughout this session, the governor, we would expect, would just keep calling lawmakers back session after session until he gets this passed.
Look, we have to put up a big fight against this because this is a bigger fight than any other one that we have faced before. In the past, Republican lawmakers have gerrymandered, but this is brand new that Donald Trump is ordering Texas Republicans to radically change their own districts just to help one man, Donald Trump. In this case, if we break quorum and if there's filibusters, we can galvanize not just Democratic and progressive support, but there's many Republican members of Congress who privately are against these maps, but just haven't found the backbone to come out and say it. We've got to stop Donald Trump from suppressing voting rights here in Central Texas, because Trump has said that once he's done here in the Austin area and in Texas, he wants to take this show on the road and start doing it in districts all across the country. So we've never faced something like this before. He wants to have an unaccountable gerrymandering across America, and we've got to start it. So we've got to stop it before it starts here in the Austin area.
And let's talk a little bit about some of those Republicans. We have heard, obviously, and I know you have heard this too, that there are Republican lawmakers who do not want this map to become the congressional map for the state of Texas because it puts them in some pretty competitive races, some of them.
These Republican lawmakers have not found a spine yet, and I hope they'll find one, because we need the Republicans to focus alongside my Democratic colleagues on flooding relief, not on this ridiculous and radical redistricting and gerrymandering. And so I hope that if Democrats break quorum and buy us some time, that we can have Republicans start to speak out against these districts getting redrawn and throwing their own constituents under the bus. There's also Republicans in other states like California and New York who are starting to get very nervous, because if Greg Abbott does this in Texas, then other governors in blue states have started to say that they will have no choice but to retaliate and start getting rid of some Republican Congress members there.
Okay. Certainly interesting. Something we know we will be watching. You will be watching. Congressman Casar, we thank you so much for taking some time out to talk with us today.
Thank you for having me.